Peace and welcome into the latest episode of Men of a Certain Age, The Soup. It is I, Fro, and Panero today just on the show. We are rolling ace deuce today, Panero. How you?
You know what it is. Early morning football, baby.
Shout outs. First of all, let me just say shout out to Don. He is not able to make it in today. He's called in sick. You know, a little bit of too much partying with Blue Fi last night. So shout out next week, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So yeah, man, as we pop off the show, man, we got a lot to talk about this week. But first, you know how we do. Before we get into the serious business of the soup, we got to talk about last week's game. What the hell was the play calling on the goal, coming off the goal line, man? What was that about, Lord?
I have no clue. I'm watching it with my mans and them. I even got the wife with me. She's like, well, why are they throwing the ball? I looked at her like, what? You right. They shouldn't be throwing the ball. You know, they should have ran the clock out, played for OT. McDermott, you know, he took the blame for it as he should. But come on, man. They giving you the game. They gave him the game a couple times. A couple of turnovers in the second half Houston had. And, you know, the Bills didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, man. It's a long season for the hometown, man. It's more games to be played. We got to pick one on Monday night against the hated Jets. If the Bills don't do nothing, man, and I am not wearing this green, no how, no way, no because of gangrene Jets. I hate the Jets. I do not like the Jets. The Bills must beat the Jets Monday night, Lord.
You know what, though, fam? I think with the firing of Saleh, it may get the Jets a little, you know what I'm saying, a little oomph.
A bounce.
Yeah, they might have a little bounce to their step. They might be trying to prove something. So, you know, we need to knock them down, jump on them early. You know what I'm saying? Get to Rodgers as much as possible because he's not as mobile as he used to be. You know, we gotta win this game, man. This is, you know, it ain't do or die, but man, I can't stand the Jets either. That green do look good on you though, fam. I just want to let you know.
I appreciate the generous words there, Lord. But as we go ahead and cook up this soup here today, man, we got a lot to talk about this week, man. And we're gonna talk about the real big homie, as I like to call him. Barack Obama got out there on the campaign trail and said a couple things that seem like brothers, man. They kind of Kyle Thomas on this topic, but we're gonna get into that. So also, man, last week it really went down with this particular person, and who I'm talking about is Jaguar Wright. We got to talk about Jaguar Wright, man. She got a lot to say, and she out here spewing a whole lot of nonsense, and we want to talk about that in this episode of The Soup. Also, man, we have to talk about Puff. Things getting serious. Court dates are being put in stone, so we definitely want to talk about what happened with Puff this week as well, man. But welcome into the episode of The Soup, man. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down low. So Panero, man, let me see here. Hey Siri. How many days till the election? Hey Siri. How many days until the election?
Okay, I found this on the web for how many days until the election. Check it out.
22 days, Lord, is what it's looking like right about now until election Wednesday, right?
You got your Newports ready, fam?
Man, listen. I think I'm gonna invest in some Black and Miles around.
Oh, wow. It's getting extreme.
Yeah, man. I'm taking to the Jamaican club one time with the Black and you know what I mean? But 22 whole days until the election. You know, we always are talking about the election and what we think and how we feel about it. But as I stated earlier in the rundown of what we're going to talk about today, Barack got out on the campaign trail and he ended in Pennsylvania, a battleground state. and he had a lot to say in the battleground state. He went to Harris's campaign quarters, and he had some things to say to the people in the campaign quarter. But of course, the cameras on, so he was speaking to all of us.
Everybody, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what I want to do is let's jump into that really quick and see what the real big homie had to say, and then we come back and build on that, man.
But before his guest feature in Pennsylvania, Obama made a surprise visit to Kamala Harris's campaign headquarters in Pittsburgh. It was there that he got candid, maybe a little too candid if you are in the vice president's inner circle tonight. He warned that Harris is underperforming him with black voters, and he had a message specifically for black men.
Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for them. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is. That's not acceptable.
CNN political commentator Errol Lewis is in our fifth seat for this conversation. Errol.
So that was a little clip, and the reason why I chose that particular clip to show, Lord, is because the media is doing what the media does, right? So they talking us up as black men, that we as black men are not supporting Kamala Harris. And that's what, Barack was getting at when he was talking there in the headquarters down there in PA, right? And then I've seen a lot of people talking about, oh, he shame talk, he talking down to us. When you see, the real big homie sit up there and speak truth, and then we as black men, when I say we, I'm part of black men. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm going to show some examples of brothers having an issue with Barack saying what he said the other day. What's your thoughts on that?
First of all, I think Barack, as smart as he is, he knows that he has to be extremely careful as to what he says, because it means a lot. As you can see, when he pauses before he says things, he's really thinking about exactly what he wants to get across. And the only thing he's doing, Fro, is he's speaking truth. I think what the media does and what they're doing is they couldn't find anything wrong with this woman, man, with VP Harris. So now what they have to do is they have to find black people against her, because this is their only way of trying to do things, when it comes to her, anything negative towards her. I mean, this is their last hurrah. Like, okay, now we couldn't get her on anything else. She's more accomplished, like we said in earlier shows, than Barack is, because, she just has so much with her when it comes to being, in California and being nominated and being voted in and being she was actually what was she, Fro? She was the what in California? Attorney General, right? So, and the vice president, she has a lot of experience. and they have nothing else on her but to try to put us as black men against her. And for all those black men out there, like Barack said, do you feel as though that you're more of a man by not voting or supporting someone who doesn't have your interests at all? Like, it doesn't make any sense. He's speaking truth, and whoever doesn't agree with it, they have an issue.
So it's like I said, it's always us, right? It's always the black that they paint, they painting the black men are against Harris. Like you said, there's nothing else. It's nothing else that they can talk about, but there's so much more that they can talk about. Because why aren't they talking about the white men who aren't going to vote for?
Right.
But they're going to say, the black men overwhelmingly that the black men are not supporting Kamala Harris, and which I find very, very hard to believe.
Right.
At the end of the day.
But then when you have certain people who are in the community, who are like visible to the community as black men, who are saying the same things as, and I'm not going to support her, it's magnified like it's all of us. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the media does, fam. It's a big spin machine. You just spin everything.
So it's another guy who's been this may be his first appearance on the Soup. And the reason why I bring him up is due to the fact that what we're talking about is black men, and then black men having an issue with supporting Kamala Harris. Right. And this person I'm talking about is Lord J. You know what I'm saying? Again, with most people that we have in the Soup or down in the Soup, we have some type of like for them, because it wouldn't interest me what he's saying if he was just a straight up dun-dun-dun.
Exactly.
He can say some ignorant shit like all of us can, from time to time. And I'm sure people done set up here and watch the Soup. Thanks for watching, by the way.
Right.
I said, man, that was some ignorant shit that motherfucker said. You know what I mean? And that's cool, because this is what we talking about. This is America, where we all can share our opinions. So Lord J was saying, let's just listen to what Lord J had to say about VP Harris in this situation.
Is the worst motherfucker in the world, but guess what? He was already president.
See Sam Mitchell and your man get into it on NBA TV.
I heard about it. They don't understand Sam from the old school. He'll whoop your ass out here. Don't get your ass whooped out here, man. Sam told him quit playing with me. But then Sam put his finger in his face. Better stop playing with me, man. I told you.
He didn't put the long chain in his head.
Sam hit him with "I done told you."
He went Southern Georgia real.
I told you. You better stop fucking with me.
Man, how the fuck this shit disappeared? I got it on my phone, so why I can't find it on here? Let me do this.
The Lord J joint?
Yeah.
I know you sent it to me.
This shit bullshit. Niggas is wild though, man. They mad at Barack for saying some real shit. Like, how could you even consider voting for
Implement some shit?
Bro, you want me to do the hold on. The 3, 2, 1 shit?
Yeah, but I still gotta find the actual video.
Okay.
If I can't find it in a minute, shit, we'll just go on to something else, man.
Shit, take your time, bro. Ain't no fucking game on until Monday night for me. Fucking wife out of town and shit. I've been walking around here in my drawers eating slices and shit.
Appreciate you, fam. But still don't make no sense for that video not to be right at the top because I had it there.
Right. Shit, Chicago up 21-3 around this bitch.
Yeah, your boy Peterson about to get canned, man.
People want to act like Trump is the worst motherfucker in the world, but guess what? He was.
Okay. Here we go.
Got it.
Wow. I'm tripping. Here we go.
People act like Trump is the worst motherfucker in the world, but guess what? He was already president, and all this shit you talking about didn't happen. He didn't make himself a dictator, and this whole shit about he's gonna make himself a dictator is really taken so out of context that it's ridiculous. He said he'd make himself a dictator on the first day, to implement some shit, and then, but that was, trust me, said tongue in cheek. It was not said seriously. Y'all already living in Project 2024. Okay, you worried about Project 2025 when they already ran Project 2020 on you with the scandemic and all that fucking bullshit. Like, what the fuck are y'all really even talking about? Y'all trying to act like scare me into thinking that he's so bad that I should just vote for this broad just because. But guess what? I feel that she's so bad. She's the one that scares me. So I feel that she's so bad that guess what? I might just go fuck around and vote for Trump. And this is my first time saying this out loud. But y'all motherfuckers think you're gonna shame somebody or bully a nigga into voting for this bitch? Absolutely not.
Very respectful.
Absolutely not. And now you're gonna make me be Mr. Anti. You keep coming at me with this bullshit. You keep coming at me talking about, oh, it's a shame that you're not supporting a black woman. She's not black. She's Indian. She ain't black. Fuck out of here. They're gonna, listen, I don't give a fuck. Trust me, the sentiment on the street in the real world is a lot of people are not fucking with this woman. They see right through her, and they're trying to blame it on black men, but no, I see a lot of black women that are not fucking with her neither. Okay?
Speaking of Pac, you had an issue with
Lord J, Lord.
This is what I mean by when someone of, first of all, let me preface this by saying I'm a brand Nubian guy. You know what I'm saying? I fucks with brand Nubian. I fuck with Lord Jamar back when they was doing their thing. Sadat X is one of my favorite rappers, to be honest with you. Grand P, all them boys. That's what I do. I'm a man of a certain age. You know what I'm saying? You know, and Lord Jamal used to come with the smooth lyrics. You know what I mean? And I appreciate him for that. But in this situation, I'm trying to figure out what it is that makes him feel the way he feels. Is it it's difficult for me to say. I think it's more of a misogynist thing. You know, I think he doesn't think women should be in a place of power. And I think I understand why, but I don't want to go that far. But he's taken it to other levels by saying that he might mess around and vote for someone that doesn't even have his interest. And the fact that he said that Trump was the president before, when he was a president before, he was a horrible president. You know, the worst we've ever had. So why would you want to vote him back in? And then the common sense comes in, which common sense isn't common anymore. Regardless of what you may think, we all know Kamala is a black woman. But even if you thought she was Indian and an American citizen, if she's the better person, male or female, for the job, you should vote her in because of that. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy at this moment? Is he looking for, is it clickbait? Which I doubt. You know, I don't know what it is. But if he feels that way, I think, you know, be a percentage guy, 75% of it to me is misogyny. It's sexist to me, bro.
And I think you hit it right out of the ballpark, you know, with the misogyny piece of it. Let me just say this about Lord J. Lord J is not a serious person, man. And I say that to say this. I saw him, now you see him up there with Art of Dialogue, shout to Art, right? So he was on a panel with what's the cat, Jason Lee, a couple other cats, and they were talking about Puff. You know, this dude is up there in a suit jacket. Lord J is up there with the hard bottoms up. Now he might have had the drawers on down low. You know what I mean? He might have been suited and booted for the up top shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Timberlands or whatever else down low. But here he is on a national television type show. And now he want to put the suit jacket on and the collar shirt. But you know, he's sitting up there with Art. You know what I mean? Then he, you know what I'm saying? You know, he like, you know, so that's why I say, you know, he's not really a serious individual. And for the facts for him to say, you know, well, he was president once before, he didn't make himself. How do you know how close he was to trying to do those exact same things?
Right.
Did he not witness Jan 6 when he sent his minions up there to try to, you know, take folks out? I mean, people like, oh, that's conspiracy there. It didn't really happen. They did that in you know, that type of cat is what we dealing with. That's why I say he's not a real serious dude. You know, he is from the New York metropolitan area, one of the boroughs, right? So he through the Central Park 5 situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He lived through when Donald Trump wasn't letting no black people live in his buildings and different things of that nature. But here it is, this woman where it has been proven her father is a Jamaican and her mom is South Indian, right? South Asian. You know, for lack of a better word, Indian. You know what I mean? However, you know what I'm saying? And we play by the rules where these Europeans said it as if you had 1%.
One drop, baby.
That made you us, right?
Yeah.
So now people want to mix it and say, oh, if you ain't 100%, you know, ain't none of us 100%. Right. What are we talking about here?
Because it doesn't fit their narrative, right? So now they want to flip it and bounce it.
Right. You know, she's Indian. You know, that's why I say he's not a serious dude, and it's real disrespectful. And that's what Barack was talking about.
Right, exactly.
In the election office, he was saying this very thing about this fool, Lord J, sitting up here spewing ignorance.
Right.
It's supposed to be God body.
Exactly. That's what I was alluding to. You know, you're supposed to be, you know, never seen a God rock a jam in my lifetime, dude. You know what I'm saying? But then you come disrespecting black women. Come on, B.
Off top for a European.
Right.
Today, this who you give vote to, and again, a lot of these dudes, I sit up here, you know, like I said, my TL is hot like fire. You know what I mean? So I see this all the time, and I'll jump in every now and again. You know, somebody who put something crazy out there. Most of these dudes who screaming all of this about they ain't voting or they ain't voting for her or rah rah rah, they ain't voting no way.
Anyway,
ain't never voted.
Looking for clicks.
Right.
Yeah.
Show me where you voted somewhere, Lord J.
Exactly.
I'd give 10 to 1 odds that you ain't never voted nowhere since high school class president. Why are you sitting up here talking about you're going to give your vote to this person or that person?
Exactly.
You know, and again, and the way we living right now with social media, again, that's media, because some of us are only getting our information from Art of Dialogue. Shout out to Art of Dialogue, you know, because Art got a hell of a platform, and he putting it out there, you know, for people to consume.
Shout out to Art.
But when they consuming ignorance, 60% of the time, you know, what can we expect?
Right.
And then they get upset when Barack say some real stuff. You know, oh, he browbeating us. I don't need nobody telling me, man. If
you're bullying, you trying to bully me. Come on, man. But he's trying to bully you by telling you the truth. You don't want to hear the truth. You know what I mean? And like you said, you're not voting anyway, but you feel bullied. And then you're going to go on the show and say you might give your vote to Trump. Come on, man.
And so what that do, put the battery in the back of the fools,
right,
who was on the teetering. Man, I ain't fucking with Kamala Harris. She ain't black. You know what I mean? Then you
just because Lord Jamar said it.
Just because this cat up there promoting some bullshit that he got a check or whatever for to get up there and say.
Pretty much.
It's real funny. But what I want to do is this, before we jump off of this for this topic, man, I want to bring this brother Keith Boykins in on this whole topic we talking about, man. Let me get to that.
Got the 4-legger going, fam. Got to get this money back. I'm gambling responsibly.
Watched the games yesterday, yo. The best. I love college football Sunday.
I was watching Bama, yeah. They almost took an L too. Shit. They ain't look too good.
Here we go. Go back here. Let me do this here.
from Republicans about black men. Barack Obama has ignited a firestorm about black men and manhood.
You're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you?
Part of the confusion may be that critics thought he was shaming the black men in the room, but actually he was describing an issue he's seeing among other men in the community.
That's what being a man is? Putting women down? That's not acceptable.
Some felt he was scolding black men. I have a different take with two key points. First, black men are a success story for Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. After all the gaslighting from Republicans about black men leaving the party 4 years ago, Joe Biden won 87% of the vote from black men in 2020. That makes us the second most loyal constituency of the Democratic Party. Only black women, who voted 95% for Biden, are more supportive. A Washington Post Ipsos poll last month found black men overwhelmingly support Harris over Trump on every issue, including abortion, crime, the economy, and immigration. And a CNN poll last month found very little gender divide among black voters. That means Kamala Harris will probably win 85 to 90% of black men. That's good news, and black men should be celebrated for that. Personally, I don't understand how any black man could vote for Donald Trump after he led a lynch mob against the exonerated Central Park Five, lied about Obama's birth certificate, blackballed Colin Kaepernick out of the NFL, and bragged about bringing back racist policing tactics like stop and frisk. But I also know that unanimity of opinion is unattainable. No candidate or party is ever going to get 100% of black people to support them. But 87% is pretty damn good. That's why I've said before that we can't pathologize black men for our voting patterns when other groups, mainly white women, are the real problem. That brings me to my second point. I don't think Obama was scolding or pathologizing black men. Instead, he was having an internal conversation with black men to get us to examine some of the reasons that some of us don't support Kamala Harris. That's why the black men Obama was speaking to in the room seemed to agree with him. Obama made a point that a small but vocal contingent of men, including black men, refuse to support any woman candidate for president.
Right.
Many of them have unrealistically high expectations for Kamala Harris, but don't hold Trump to the same standard.
Exactly.
One black man in Pennsylvania told reporters he plans to vote for Trump because Harris doesn't come from a background similar to the majority of black Americans. That makes no sense. Does he think a white man who spent his career refusing to rent to black people and spreading racist lies about us understands the black experience better than the black woman who grew up in Oakland, attended Howard University, and joined AKA sorority? I'm sorry, I call bullshit. That man just doesn't want to vote for a woman. Obama
Exactly.
was speaking to all black men. He was speaking to that man and to the black men who have no problem with Trump selling cheap mugshots and $400 gold sneakers as black outreach. But when a black woman who spent her entire life around black people tries to get them to vote for her, it's considered pandering. Just stop lying about why you're voting for Trump, because you're making yourself sound ridiculous.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses, because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
Right.
It's the exact same message that Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul delivered on the Win with Black Men Zoom call with 40,000 black men supporting Kamala Harris in July.
Some men are reluctant to support a woman, thinking that it weakens their stature as a leader.
So why are we acting all new with Obama? Obama delivered a similar message to all men in Pittsburgh the same day.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I noticed this especially with some men who seem to think Trump's behavior, the bullying and the putting people down, is a sign of strength. I am to tell you, that is not what real strength is. It never has been.
Obama is asking all men, including black men, to rethink our relationship with women in positions of power and to reevaluate our understanding of manhood. Being a man is not about controlling women, mocking the weak, or insulting the vulnerable. That's a caricature of manhood that Trump creates. Manhood is about honesty, fairness, responsibility, duty, and courage. A real man is secure enough in his identity to stand up in a crowd of yes men and tell them no when they do wrong. True manhood is powerful. It's about using our strength, not just to help ourselves, but to help those in need.
So Keith Boykin, you know, you gotta have cats like Keith Brown, you know, to offset the bullshit that we hear and we have around us. You know, you got to have a filter sometimes. You know what I mean? You think about the people that smoke squares, you know, they go with the ultras and you know what it goes. Sometimes you got to have that filter. And to guys like Keith Boykins and, you know, Roland Martin, you know, those are two that come to mind that stay on the ground of fighting for us as black men. You know what I'm saying? And because the press is definitely painting it as we are not messing with Kamala Harris, man.
Right.
Black men are not messing with Kamala Harris, you know, and it's more so the chauvinism more than misogynism more than anything. You know, we saw an example of Lord J straight up and down, like 6 o'clock.
Man, disrespectful too. Yeah.
You know, I was telling my lady, Kamala went on this media blitz, and she went on Stern, and I didn't see the whole video, but I saw clips and pieces of it. And I'm like, you know, he was mad, respectful.
Exactly.
He came up there when he came up there in a suit and tie. We all know Stern, you leather, the t-shirt and the jeans, chucks, you know, however, he came respectable. And you think about, you know, here it is, Howard Stern is showing respect to this lady, but the brothers, I ain't that bitch. You know, Judge, what's Judge Brown? You know what I mean? It's like, come on, B. Why the animus like that for a black woman who's obviously paid her dues, man? It ain't like she just had it easy. Like that. Like, go holler at Pops and Pops bless you with $3 million off the top, which is the equivalent to, you know, 300 or whatever million today. You know, this lady paid her dues, like you were saying, attorney general, you know, DA, senator, VP. You know, she ain't going from high school to the league, Lord, is what I'm saying.
No, she didn't. She went to the G League. You know what I'm saying? She sat on the bench. You know what I'm saying? She went to practice. She worked hard. She got to where she is. But, Fro, I think a lot of it is, along with the misogyny and the sexism, and a lot of it could be jealousy too. You know, because as a man, if you haven't accomplished what you've accomplished in your life, and you look over and there's a woman, because you're a misogynist and because you're a sexist, that's about to be the president of the United States, you have an issue with that. You know, so you probably, whoever feels that way, they need some counseling, B. You go sit somewhere and talk to somebody, man. You know, because this is ridiculous, man. This woman is qualified. She's going to lead us in the right direction. You know, she's not trying to separate the country. She's trying to bring us together. She has policies that people were saying that she didn't have them. Now she's being specific with the policies. They're looking for something else. There's nothing else. You know what I'm saying? This is it. Get out there and vote. Don't not vote, you know, because you feel a certain kind of way. For men of a certain age, get out there and vote, man. Y'all got to vote this lady in because she's for your best interest.
Man, because if this other cat get in there, Mr. Word Salad, you know, it's no telling what the hell was going to go on this time, because now this time he formulated, he has his minions in line, whereas before he had to go out and try to choose folks that he thought be the best for the position. He didn't realize that these folks weren't just going to go along to get along. You know?
And then the media fan with this Jedi mind trick, I'm glad that you got the stats of the actual people who voted for Biden when it came to percentages, when it came to black people. 87% of black men and almost 95% of black women. So it's like the media is trying to tell you what they normally do, not give you the actual truth, and give you specific people like Lord Jamar who are gonna say things so other people can think, well, this is how black people feel. This is Lord Jamar. He's saying it, so they almost feel this way. No, the percentages say different. Come on now, cut out the bullshit.
Stop it, right?
Cut the bullshit out.
The propaganda is so great, man. That's
the
why
machine is a bitch, ain't it?
Yeah, man. And I have a love-hate relationship with Abby Phillip. You know, I like to try to support her because she's a sister, you know what I mean? But the content sometimes, you know, I don't agree with it. You know, some of the stuff that she allows to go on and be said on her show. But as in this world that we living in, Lord, you know, 2024, it's a lot of space for people to get out here and do things and say things,
right?
Because they can. And I'm saying you to give you this, Jaguar Wright has been, she is like hot like fish grease right now in the culture. You know, she been for years, she has been talking about the industry and what goes on and this and that. So, you know, it's probably a lot element of truth to what she says, you know, but unfortunately people like to embellish to make it, you know, they got to add to the soup to make it taste better. You know what I mean? I'm gonna throw a little bit of salt in there, or then I might throw a lot of salt in there, over salt it.
Then it end up being some nasty soup.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And she's been in some murky waters as of late, man. Let's get into this Jaguar Wright thing on the soup. So, as I'm sure everybody out there who's watching, thanks again. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down low.
Hit that notification bell too, man. Wednesdays, the soup is real hot. Wednesdays.
All right, there it is. Bang bang. But she has, you know, surfaced a lot since, you know, Puff has his whole situation has come to the forefront. So she showed up on Piers Morgan's broadcast. You know, Piers Morgan does this thing overseas.
That's worldwide right there, B.
Yeah, so you know, international, national. You know, so let's get into Jaguar Wright on Piers Morgan one time.
I have 3 victims right now. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim?
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about. Piers.
Listen, like I said, Jay-Z and Beyoncé are not here, unfortunately, to respond to that.
I know. I'm just being honest with you.
You're perfectly entitled to your views, obviously. Kim Porter, a new book claimed that Diddy may have been involved in her early death. What do you think of that?
I think people should really look into that more.
The shocking allegations leveled at...
So after she was on with Piers, you know, Jay-Z and Beyoncé was like, okay. I think y'all need to keep our names out your mouths. So this happened next, Lord.
Diddy Combs have burst the floodgates on salacious claims about an industry many people believe harbored a monster. Understandably, the internet's ablaze with claims about these events and whether other powerful figures were involved too. Well, last week I interviewed Jaguar Wright, a singer-songwriter who's made claims about Diddy for years. Those claims had already received a lot of attention in the media across many platforms for many years. And that's the thing about platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform as long as they have something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invited her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyoncé during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves. But now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact. And we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. But, like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyoncé.
What are your thoughts on Jaguar Wright being mentioned all over national news?
Not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well.
The thing about her is, like, sometimes there's a lot of truth to what she's saying based on my personal experience. I'm not going to say she's completely accurate all the time, but some of the things she said were things that I was actually thinking, but I was like, I could never say that because people would say I'm hating. But I know for a fact that, you know, the thing she said, like the thing they all have in common is, you know, R. Kelly and Puff and the Weinstein and Epstein. When someone gets on a national platform like that and it's said where everyone, I guess now he's going to have to regulate that.
Because everything that he said, denouncing me and then confirming me and then talking about, that all happened a day before the report about the 9-year-old boy was released. And before people started confirming that the video that was being shopped around was Bieber and Diddy. See, that's the problem with running your mouth, Vlad. That's the problem. You didn't realize on Monday that every word that you said was going to be invalidated on Tuesday.
Real life. It ain't real life. Real life street stars. Know what time it is.
He brought you on to speak on Diddy, and it seemed as if your focus turned to Jay-Z, his wife.
That's always been my focus.
Yes. What?
They're one and the same. Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
We asked you this last time, and Piers Morgan said it. They're not here to defend themselves. Do you think the Carters will speak about any of this at all? Do you just feel that they'll make any statement about what's going on?
Beyonce is losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything. Just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say something?
I mean, probably not, considering she's going to be indicted for anything she would say. These are criminals. Diddy is a drug dealer, and so is Jay-Z. The proof is there. How many up people does he have to be around before people see him for who he is?
It seems like these artists are trying to run away from their past. Diddy changed his name multiple times to say, that's not me. I'm trying to move beyond Diddy. I'm Love now. It seems like Jay-Z would try to run away from his past.
Calling that nigga Love and anything that he did love. Brother love. What kind of love? Baby oil love. Baby love. Baby love. Explicit love. Hey. They never thought that hip hop would take it this far.
Oh man, that's out.
So Jaguar Wright has officially
Whew.
made her extra preservatives, added her extra preservatives to the soup one time, Lord.
Man, she done put it in the can, man, and she done made it too salty. You know what though, families? I think a lot of it, like you said earlier, there's a smidgen of truth in whatever and everything she's saying, because obviously she was in those circles. But I think she takes it so far that I think that allegedly, I think she's gotten the ears of the feds, man. You know, and I think that she's honestly, this is just my opinion. I think because of the smidgen of truth, they have attached themselves to her. She's attached themselves to them, and now I think she the feds, man, just straight up, you know. And whatever she can do to get these people in a position to be shut down and locked up or whatever, and who knows what she's getting for saying the things that she's saying, you know. She's stretching it, fam. She's stretching it, and I'm a Dame Dash dude, and I understand his position. He's saying, you know, there may be some truth in it, but he never be in a position or put himself in a position to say anything about it. Because like he said, what would it make him look like? You know, like he's just straight hating on Jay-Z. But with Jaguar and the Piers Morgan thing, fam, is the reason why they didn't come out and sue her is because what does she have? To sue, you suing somebody, it takes money to sue. And if you're going to sue someone and they don't have anything, what's the point? But when it comes to Pierce, like you said, Pierce has a worldwide audience and he's got paper. So of course they're going to say something like, yo, you got our character out here putting it out in the world in a negative fashion. You're going to have to cut that shit out or we will come after your ass. And I think that's why he was like, you know, let me apologize to these wealthy people because they have my ass, you know. And again, I'm saying these things, not condoning any of these allegations, you know, because if these things are true, it's horrible, you know. But again, to put it all in perspective, I think Jag she working with the feds, fam, allegedly.
I agree with you too. The things that she's saying, there's no way in the world that's at some point she wouldn't be called in to witness.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean? When Common had the song Testify, you know
what on, man.
He's gonna have to come up in there and,
man,
you know, not unless she like Ghost. Ghost say he throw his hand on the Bible and tell lies too.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like she is America's most wanted right now.
Man.
You know, only thing I can say is this: is her and Charleston White sit down somewhere, that joint would be, you'd have to have armed guards out around them. You know what I mean? Because they the fire starters on everything and anything within the culture. You know, it's crazy because the only way you're gonna shut her down is to, you know, get at her.
Yeah.
And it ain't like Jay-Z and Beyoncé don't have no money. You know, what's money to him? You know, Jay-Z was screaming money wasn't a thing 30 years ago. So that's before he became Mr. Billionaire.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's crazy. And it's sad that, you know, people make a living off of, you know, being the gossiper, you know, or being the teller. And, you know, because she, of course, she sat down with Lord J within a week or two. You know, so you know they was cooking up some marvelous shit to have your mouth watering.
She reminds me of them aunties at the picnic. Oh, excuse me, at the cookout that would be talking shit about the family, and you know a little bit of it is true, and a lot of it is bullshit.
Right, a lot of it is embellished.
Yo, if you don't get heard from around the grill talking that shit, man, you know, getting people in trouble and shit. Your girlfriend looking at you all funny because she over there talking that bullshit. You know
that's what she there for. That's her position, is to be the shit starter.
Man, come on, man.
That's crazy. But like we said, man, you know, it's probably some truth to it, and who knows what the percentage of the truth of it is, man. But as we continue on this episode, you know, Jaguar Wright was supposed to have been on Piers Morgan's show to talk about Puff, you know, and I want to do this little breakdown this cat did online, man, about, you know, the court case Puff did against the liquor company. So I'm gonna hear that real quick. Let's do that.
It's that Diageo, right?
Exactly. That there. Right there, right there. This is not the right feed. This is the feed. Yeah, but the media will try to play us like suckers, man, and be telling us, you know, we ain't riding with.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. And if you don't read between the lines, you know how that go. Some people only surface thinkers, and whatever they see on TV or on the media or even on social media, they take it and run with that shit. You better read between the lines and figure that shit out on your own. Devontae Adams is trying to get the fuck out of Las Vegas, man.
Yeah, but if you're getting out of Las Vegas to go to the Jets, he might as well stay in Vegas.
Might as well stay in Vegas, right?
The Jets ain't gonna do shit. Fuck out of here.
$1 billion lawsuit.
Trying to get back with Rodgers, huh?
Yeah, man, for what?
Diddy has garnered a lot of enemies over the past.
For what, though?
Shit, I might have to turn my heat on around this motherfucker, man. I'm trying to hold it off.
That's what Janice said.
Shit.
Pop her Jane on one time.
Few months, the biggest being the United States government and its new criminal investigation against him. But his biggest enemy came in May of 2023 when he filed a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against the alcoholic beverage company Diageo. While Puff filed a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit against them, he claimed that they were engaging in racist practices. Before we get into the weeds of this lawsuit, let's talk about the company first. Diageo is the world's largest premium alcoholic beverage company with a net worth of $74 billion, making it the 254th most valuable company on the planet. Some of the key shareholders, Vanguard and BlackRock. And in 2023, Warren Buffett, the snowball, opened his wallet and spent $42 million on Diageo stock, which is currently selling for $136 a share on the NYSE stock index. Beyond Rock, which connects it to Puff, what other liquor brands do they own? Johnny Walker, Smirnoff, Bailey's, Captain Morgan, to name a few. And in 2017, they purchased Don Julio and gave George Clooney $1 billion to purchase Casamigos. Those last two is where Puff has an issue. In 2007, Diageo was losing $40 million a year on a brand they had called Ciroc. So they contact Puff because they seen that he had a major influence in the lifestyle world. So Puffy signs on to promote Ciroc. Now the deal was he would just get a sponsorship fee for promoting the brand. He didn't have any ownership in it. Sort of like influencer deals that you would see here, where a company will contact the influencer and pay them a flat fee to promote a product. Same, way more money. Puffy sets out on this unprecedented advertising campaign, turns it completely around and makes Ciroc a household name and one of the most popular vodkas in the world, but he has no ownership in it. This leads to the flavored Ciroc variants: peach, apple, coconut. They don't give him any ownership in the unflavored Ciroc, but what they do tell him is you can get X amount of dollars off each case of flavored Ciroc that ships. That's when you see Diddy starting to heavily promote flavored Ciroc bottles and why he was doing that. What Diageo didn't see coming is having to pay him $60 million a year off that deal. Here's the important part. Before Diageo started their partnership with Diddy, they were shipping 40,000 cases of Ciroc a year. 10 years later, with Puff being the face of Ciroc and promoting it, they were shipping 2.6 million cases.
Damn.
Fine, Puffy is a boss, not an influencer. During this time, Puff started to see that tequila was becoming the popular drink that people wanted. So Puff buys the tequila brand De Leon. And Diageo, the company that he has made billions, is the distributor of it. Unbeknownst to Puff, they had also went and bought Don Julio and Casamigos from George Clooney. Neither company had made them a dime in the past 10 years. And then what Diageo did really pissed off Puff. First, we got to talk about supply and demand. If a company controls your supply and demand, they can determine your financial future. If they only make a small supply of your product and ship it to a small number of locations where you're going to have a few buyers.
Right.
50% of De Leon and Diageo owned the other 50%, and Diageo was responsible for supply and distribution. Unlike Ciroc, where Diddy didn't have any ownership, he owned 50% of De Leon. What does that mean? Out of the billions of dollars that Puffy had made selling Ciroc, they only had to give him a few $100 million. They made over $70 billion. But because Puff owned half of De Leon, they were going to have to split those billions with him. They and puffed a few $100 million for Ciroc. Now it was looking like they was going to have to split the billions with him down the middle. Remember, he took Ciroc from shipping 40,000 cases a year to 2.6 million. Even if he got close to doing for De Leon what he was doing for Ciroc, they were going to have to cut a huge check. De Leon launches and Puffy goes into full throttle salesman mode. Sort of like what he was doing for Ciroc, but on steroids. Sales start to come in and they are abysmal. Diageo only made a small amount of De Leon and only shipped it to certain locations.
Right.
Locations you talking about, comrade? The urban landscape. Stop signing off on advertising budgets. So Diddy decides to investigate with his own people the infrastructure that Diageo had created to play their role in the contract of making De Leon a success. This brings us to the agave plant. Agave plants are the primary ingredients in making tequila, and they are grown in Mexico. So Diddy decided to send his people to Mexico to see how many agave plants Diageo had planted for De Leon.
I had to send my people down to Mexico, and this is just to tell you what the fight is about. They went down to Mexico, and when they got down there, they found out that there was 0 agave planted for De Leon. No plan for us to be successful. It was no equal treatment. The other brands, they had agave planted.
And most of the agave that was planted for Casamigos, whom Diageo had just gave George Clooney $1 billion.
Wow.
Is pissed, and he files his lawsuit citing discrimination and breach of contract. This is where it gets really interesting, but I want to recap the company that Diddy is going up against. Diageo is the 254th most valuable company on the planet, worth $74 billion. Its two main investors are BlackRock and Vanguard, two powerful, richest companies on the planet. BlackRock and Vanguard together basically own the planet Earth. Pay close attention to this timeline. May of 2023, Puffy files his lawsuit. In June of 2003, Diageo gives a public response. They say that Diddy is trying to extract billions of dollars from the company, and his inflammatory rhetoric about racism is going to cast a bad shadow on the company. Then they filed a motion citing a part of Puff contract that said that this issue should be handled in private arbitration. Basically, they were saying if it wasn't for the claims of racism, this was just a standard business disagreement. In September, the judge presiding over that case denied that motion and set it for trial and made the trial open to the public. Remember, September. 1 month later, Cassie files her lawsuit. Snowball that is currently the trials of Diddy started. Cassie files her lawsuit November 2003. January 2004, Puffy's lawsuit with Diageo gets resolved and they release a joint statement. Sean Combs and Diageo no longer have any business dealings. And guess what Diageo also got in this settlement? Full ownership of De Leon. And all they care about is freak offs and baby oil.
What?
Once again, it's all about the once again. And again, here at Men of a Certain Age, we don't approve of anything of the allegations of Puff when it comes to, you know, trafficking and young women and kidnapping and things of that nature. But we also know what rules the world. And it's that dollar. Cash rules. Cash rules everything around us. And it got to a point where I understand why Puff did what he did. He was being taken advantage of. But this is what it leads to. You know, it leads to people with money can get themselves to a point where, excuse me, they can get the feds involved, you know, and they'll come after you. So, like he said, Vanguard and BlackRock own the earth pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And we know that through investments and things of that nature. We understand that. And when you own the earth, a part of the earth is the U.S. and the part of the U.S. is the U.S. government and the feds. So, you know what I'm saying? Yo, go after this motherfucker. It's pretty much what they said, in my opinion.
It's, as they say, it's levels to this. You know? And like you said, Lord, you know, we do not condone any of the things that Puff is being accused of. However they went, you know, it's just, you know, at the end of the day, when you try to, as the saying says, your arms is too short to box with God.
Yeah,
you know, sometimes that's the situation. You know, we've seen it before. You know, not saying the exact same situation. We heard it with Bill Cosby. You know, because he was trying to buy NBC Universal. They was like, you know, we're gonna have to let you know that you're not on this level.
Right.
You know, and it's a sad situation, man. They talking about, let me show you, man, as we talked about earlier, he got a trial date. Check this out.
Yeah, see, they trying to make him sit down, man.
Yeah,
they gonna make him sit down, you know.
May of 25, you know, so next spring, this cat gonna surface from behind bars and sit up there, and I bet you the cameras are gonna be in there now.
Right.
They talk all that shit about not having the cameras in there for old Trump ass. You better believe the cameras is gonna be in there on Puff.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
You know, it's a sad situation, man.
But then again, Fro, how much money is enough money though? You know what I'm saying? So in Puff's situation, what do you think? Do you think that, I guess as a man, you had to go after Diageo, or you could have been sat back and just, took what they gave you. You already a millionaire, and just continue with your lifestyle. So what do you do in that situation? You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, and I guess the type of person Puff is like, you know what? He from Harlem. You're not gonna take advantage of me,
right?
So I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm sending my. He was like Frank Lucas. I'm sending my people down to Mexico to find out what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Go down there and find out what's going on.
Yes.
Once again, to get into these sayings, it's not the peanut, it's the salt off the peanut.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
That's how Cass is living. You find out, and come on, man, he was had more greater worth than what they was giving him, because you break down, they was shipping 40,000 in a year to going to shipping millions.
He was being taken advantage of. Yeah.
It's like, man, that contract need to be renegotiated.
Let me see that thing.
My point need to go up a tad bit or something.
Yes, sir.
And again, he did his due diligence and found out, they was down there cooking the books on him.
Yeah.
Finding out that they was making it so he couldn't win. But man, this is going to be an interesting end of the rest of the year, man. And I'm going back to the election, man. 22 days away. It's going to be really interesting. Pay attention to how hard they paint this black man against Kamala Harris.
Right.
We talked earlier about her media blitz.
Right.
She sat down with Colbert. She sat down with a couple podcasters. She sat down with All the Smoke. She sat down with Stern, and she did this town hall with the Latino population.
Oh, okay.
A little clip of her talking to this one Latino woman who had lost her moms and what, and I was telling my sister and my lady, man, that she hit her stride with this campaign and
right
situation, and because the way she connected with the woman up there, I was like, that's good. But again, it's the Latino men that's voting for Trump,
right.
And these fair-skinned Latinos. But also, man, before we get out of here, you look at the election, and I was saying that Howard Stern showed her respect by even, coming with a suit. Now she going to talk with the Breakfast Club, I believe, this week. So we're gonna see if Charlemagne and Envy is just there. He's just there to come and say a little something every now and again. But we're gonna see what type of respect Charlemagne show to VP, man.
Right.
Because we all know what type of cat he is. I'm not expecting too much from him, but he should show some respect to this woman coming up there, this black woman coming up there, man, and is running for the highest office in the land.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's what it is. So you should have some type of respect for her. If Howard Stern can put on a suit and tie to sit down and rap with her, you can show ultimate respect up there.
And have some respect for her resume also. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, she ain't just come out of Howard saying I'm running for president of the US. You know what I'm saying? Right. Respect her resume.
No doubt. So, man, this was the latest and the greatest episode of The Soup. This was a hot 1-2 ace deuce type thing. You know what I mean? Shout out to UH, man. We'll see you next week, man. Make sure you bring plenty of flavor with you next week when you show.
Shout to Don, unite us up in here.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, Lord, we know what we want, man. What you got for us?
Before I get to that, I want to send a super shout out to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Trump said what he said about y'all, and I came right back at him. I love the Detroit versus everybody attitude. Shout out to Detroit. Do what y'all got to do when it comes to them voting polls. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the soup, I have to add a little bit of short and sweet flavor. I was talking to my kids. I have a group text every other day. I make sure I send a text out to all the kids, let them know how I feel about them, let them know I love them. And I told them, I said, listen, don't be out here complaining about the things that you don't have. Take a look around and appreciate everything you have. That's from men of a certain age. That's from Uncle Pete.
That's real stuff right there, Lord. I like that. So yeah, man, this is the latest and the greatest episode of The Shoot. You know, before we get out of here, I want to send a super shout out to my son. His born day is this week, so I want to send a shout out to my son Cameron, man. Happy born day.
Happy born day, Kappa Don.
There it is, man. And as always, man, it's the same old soup. We just reheating it.
Peace. It's football time, baby. I got to pick the wife up at 4.